Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I am back with another massive emergency card kit. If you're new to my channel, an emergency card is one where we make the cards ahead of time, but we leave the sentiments off. That way, when an occasion arises, we can choose the card or project that best fits the recipient and the sentiment that best fits the occasion. To help you with this, I come out with a free printable on the 1st and 15th of every month that is completely free for subscribers. If you enjoy this content and these projects look exciting, if you're interested in more free printables, please hit that subscribe button so I can bring you more inspiration every week. Let's take a look at the kit. It will not surprise you, I'm sure, that I went a little overboard. This is a 12-page kit. Oh my gosh, you guys. With all of our regularly scheduled sentiments and then some new stuff that I'm very excited about. So it's Valentine's Day and Galentine's Day, but I also tried to include things that can be used beyond those holidays because they're very brief, right? Like it's this short little something. So on the top row here, we have all of our normal Happy Valentine's Day, but we have 4 different font pairings. And then the ones here can be used for Valentine's Day, but also for anniversaries and all sorts of other occasions. With all my love, always and forever, to my amazing husband. I love this font. Yes, one of my favorites. I love you most. Then there's some like a Galentine's Day sort of sassy business. Who needs a man with a friend like you? Ovaries before broveries. Let's have a girls' night out. And I love that just for like sending to a friend you haven't seen for a while. Girls rule, boys drool. And then some like funny Valentine's Day or anniversary or whatever. Not to be gross, but I love you. To the sexiest nerd I know, this is a dumb holiday. I love you. I'm yours. No returns, no exchanges. This is always one of my favorites. It's what my mother said to my husband when we got married. So he'll be getting that one for sure. And it comes both with and without the circle. The circle is ever so slightly larger than 1 3/4 of an inch. So I use my EK Success punch, but if you don't have that size punch or die, you can use this other page that doesn't have the circle and you have a lot of flexibility in there. Then this, my friends, is brand new. So I have been getting requests for larger strip sentiments, and to some extent I can do that. And if you just want larger strip sentiments, please let me know in the comments below. But what I did here was to create rectangular sentiments, the same font pairings. They've been adjusted slightly as needed, but they're pretty awesome. I love them. So here's one all cut out. They're 1 1/4 by 2 1/4 inches. And you can use these on your cards if you have been struggling with circle sentiments or designing things with circles on them. I know it's a little unusual. It's just easier to cut out the circles. So definitely today, I'm going to show you how to cut that out. And you'll just use the tick marks, but there's a trick to it where you're going to cut off the tick marks you need. Then we have some kids' sentiments. I have little boys. They need to take Valentines to school. And last year, my older son and I made his Valentines. We did not do that for my younger son because he's not interested in participating and I don't need to do it all for him. But we have 4 different sentiments and then 4 of each. I need some more friends like you. Will you be my Meowentine? Do not forget you are amazing. Will you be my Gnome? You can get that with and without the circle. And then you also have an option to print this with little graphics. So it's really, really quick and easy. For all of these, I also have dies, I think, that I want to pair with these. And so I will show that in a future video. But I just thought that was a lot of fun, again, with and without the circle. And I have an option for a little treat holder. Then you can get those same sentiments in the rectangular sentiments. So if you wanted to do those instead of circles, you do get more for your like printed sheet of cardstock. There are 18 on here where the circles only have 16. So it's slightly more efficient. Then we have strip sentiments and there was some extra room at the bottom. So I added a bunch of I love yous because I can always use those. I have it in 4 fonts. I do want to know for kits coming up, I think we're going to do a pet related kit. Absolutely. There will be cats and dogs on there. So if you have ideas for funny, punny sentiments for that, put them in the comments below. But if you have requests for other animals, request that too. There would have to be several for any particular animal before I'm going to add it to the sheet. So if you've got something you feel strongly about, I want to know about it, definitely. There will be some that are for pet sympathy, but I also just want some that we can pair with some of our favorite stamp sets and die sets. Then for February, I want to make us another favorites kit. We did this in July, so I want to do it again. I want to know what your most used sentiments are from everything that's come out before. Now keep in mind, we have strip sentiments that we haven't had before. So if it goes in the favorites kit and it didn't have a strip sentiment before, I will add strip sentiments. Okay. I might even add the rectangle sentiments if you guys like that. I need to know if you like that and if that's something that I should maybe continue to do in the future. And if you're requesting something like a happy birthday or a sentiment where there's a lot of that type, if you can tell me which kit it's from, which volume, and maybe which one on the page, that really helps me. Otherwise, I will just put my favorites on there. But I want to give us a way to print less and use more of what we print. I'm just now noticing we're missing a circle here. I promise I'll fix that in your printable. Then for our card sketch, there are actually 2 pages. So here's the sketch we're going to look at today, and we'll make a card together. And then there are cutting instructions for both the strip sentiments and the rectangular sentiments. And then on the second page, there are instructions for little treat holders. All right, let's make a card. So I'm just going to go straight down the line here. This flag is 1 inch from top to bottom and 3/4 of an inch wide. So I just have a little scrap of cardstock here. And then I need 2 of each of these pieces. So I have these 2 pieces that are a 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then pattern paper that goes with it that's 1 by 4 inches. So I'm actually going to start by adding this pattern paper onto my rectangles. Then I have 2 cardstock strips that are a 1/4 inch wide that are going to go diagonally across that center section. You know I love to use up my specialty cardstock using these slim strips because it means I don't waste near as much when I get to the point where it's hard to cut with a trimmer. Then I have a large purple rectangle in the center that is 3 inches by 4 1/4. I've cut mine out of red. And then I've used matching pattern paper for this large pink rectangle at 2 3/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to add my diagonal strips before I add this to my card base so that I can just add them on and then cut off the extra with my scissors. I just eyeballed this angle, but if you're concerned about it, you can bring it over to your printable. If you print it at 100%, that's the default on my printer. You can match it up with what's on here if that's the look that you want to match exactly. Now I'm going to start adding my pieces to my card base, and I like to go in order to make sure that everything's going to fit. I go in this top left corner, which is easier for me because I'm right-handed, and I just line that up and make sure it is all the way up at the top of the fold, because you can't cut off the fold, but you can trim anywhere else you might have cardstock showing. And I like wet glue for this. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room, so I make sure everything lines up right. I will be the first to admit that I am terrible at cutting flags. So what I'm going to do is set this on my mat and use my grid to help me find the center point. And I'm going to go up a little bit, not quite a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to make a little dot with my pencil. Then I am going to cut into it right up that center to meet the pencil line. And then I'll go from each corner to that center point. Is it perfect? No, but it's not bad. And then I'm going to add that to the top of my center section. If you don't like the flag, leave the flag off. Not a big deal. Next, I'm going to add my 2-inch sentiment circle. I've cut mine out of a Scalloped. It's a Sunny Studios die. I'll link everything that I use below. And actually, I have a blog post for this one because I'm going to show you some bonus cards as well, so you can find all the details really easily. And then I have added some foam squares on the back because I have some dimension with those strips of cardstock. Mine are really thick, and I didn't want it to be lumpy. For my sentiment, I'm going to use this first page of circled sentiments, and I think I want this I love you most. I think I'm going to give this one to my oldest son. He thinks it's a competition. Who says I love you more often? Who says I love you most? And for Christmas, I got him a fork that has I love you most engraved on it. So, you know. I put a little bit of removable adhesive on the back in case I change my mind. And that will finish up card number 1. It's quick and simple and makes a really sweet card. There's lots of options for making fun folds with this one, and I'll show you that in the stepped up video next week. I want to show you how to cut out these rectangular sentiments. We have the tick marks, just like we do with the strip sentiments, but there is a little bit of a trick to it. I am using a sliding blade trimmer. This one is my favorite. I don't use it on camera much because it doesn't fit, as you can tell. But this one has a wire in it. I don't know if you can see that right in the middle there. That is not a line I printed. That's a wire. And it shows me exactly where this is going to cut. Okay. So I am going to slide my printable until my tick marks are ever so slightly to the left of that wire. And I am going to cut most of the way up, but I'm stopping here. I'm not going to go any farther. If I cut all the way off, then my side tick marks will disappear, and it's really difficult to cut the rest of the sentiments out. So I'm going to quickly do that with all of these tick marks. All right, for the last one, I do find it easier to rotate it around just so that I have more to hold on to. The other thing I like to do is to take some removable tape about halfway up and just tape these together. It makes it a little sturdier as I'm moving along. As I'm cutting, I'll remove those and I can reuse that tape. So now I'm going to turn it the other direction, and once again, I'm just lining up the 2 tick marks. Okay, so I'm going to remove these bottom pieces. These are scrap, and I can recycle that. And then I'll move up to the next one, and I can cut here. That gives me these beautiful rectangular sentiments, and there's no extra cutting in the middle. Okay, I have 2 more cards to show you and 2 treat containers, but they're mostly put together already. For this card, everything is the same, though I've used a slightly thinner strip. It's just what was in my stash. I had this really pretty, like a glitter cardstock. I don't know if that's picking up on camera. Then I cut some hearts with this Heartfelt Thanks and Scallops from Spellbinders, and I used 3 different sizes. And then because I am garbage at cutting little flags, I used this set from scrapbook.com. It's the nested flag banners. This biggest one is 5.5 inches across and then just huge. It's so big. But I have the smallest one up top. It's not quite the same measurements as it is on the sketch, but that's okay. It's going to work just fine. I don't think I'm going to use the entire height of that, but that's okay. So I'm going to put it where I want it, and then I'll just trim off the extra. Then I have my sentiment that's 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. So I have cut a little piece of cardstock here that is 1 1/2 by 2 1/2. It's just 1/4 inch larger both directions, and I'm going to center that on there. And then I'm going to add some foam adhesive from my Big Mama foam roll, that 1mm foam that I love so much. This is big enough that this works a little bit better than using the squares. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to give me some wiggle room, and I will add that again, kind of right in the same place I would have added my circle sentiment. And I'm just trying to center it on here. Then I have these kitty cat dies from Spellbinders. This is old, but I think it's still available. I just think it's so funny. And my older son is obsessed with cats. Like, it's really funny. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue and have him kind of like sitting just behind the sentiment, I think. Okay. And that will finish up card number 2, right? We have a couple great sentiments for kids that are really punny. I like the Gnome Drive set from Spellbinders for the Will You Be My Gnomey. And then I have plans to use the Pixie Dust Design S'mores set for the I Need Some More Friends Like You. It's the cutest little s'more. I've done a couple of videos with this one. And then Trinity Stamps just came out with these tiny donut dipper dies. And they make the cutest little donuts and donut holes. Like, anyway, I'll be using maybe all of those in the stepped up video. We'll have to see how long it gets, but I'll show you samples for sure. I have one more card I want to show you. This was my card for Craft Roulette last Friday. I took that same kind of layout and then actually I had every intention of including the diagonal stripes, but I forgot because it was past my bedtime. I used this awesome die set I just got from scrapbook.com. You get 2 full alphabets in this thing, and it's a beautiful serif font to do my HBD down the side. And then this is from the mini kit, the birthday sub sentiments, wishing you a wonderful day. And I have my 2 tags and a really lovely stamp in the background. Again, I'll have a blog post so you can see all of these close up, and I'll have a list of supplies if you're interested. But use what you have, right? Make this your own. Lastly, I want to share 2 treat containers with you just to give you a preview of what's coming. This one uses a piece of 6x6 pattern paper. It is square on the bottom. Nothing is falling out because it's self-closing at the top, and then you can kind of squeeze to get the treats out. I have 10 Hershey Kisses in there. If you use fewer, it closes a little better at the top, but still nothing's coming out. And then this one uses an A2, that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All the paper I've been using today is from an old 6x6 pad, but I think it's still available. I'll try to link it. This was the ephemera that coordinated with it. And then this is a little strip of that same pattern paper that I cut out to wrap around the top. And this one can hold, I think, do I have 4? Nope, I have 5 Hershey Kisses in that one. So I will show you how to do that. They're super quick and easy. You could mass produce those for coworkers or Christmas treats or Valentine's treats or whatever you want to do. All right, my friends, that was a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I would love to know which of the projects is your favorite. And then don't forget, I want to know how you feel about those new rectangular sentiments. Do you think you'll use those? Will you use them more than the circle ones? And then the kits coming up are a pet kit. If you have any ideas for that, please put it in the comments below. And anything you would like included in that favorites kit. Don't forget, the favorites kit will add strip sentiments for things that might not have had them before. I might even be able to add some rectangular sentiments for those favorites as well. So that's the goal for February. There will be a couple more videos coming out for this one. If you're interested in downloading the kit, as always, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. So if you have hit that subscribe button, go to the description box below the video and you will find all the instructions you need for downloading all 12 pages, the card sketch with measurements, and these 2 3D projects absolutely free. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.